Hi guys, so today's class is the Foundation Paper 2 class. So you've got your Paper 2 exam tomorrow. And the questions I'm going to be doing are just the 4 or 5 mark questions that I picked out from the Paper 2 exam papers. So it's a mixture of topics that have not come up in the Paper 1 yet. So we'll just get started. There's about 10 questions and it's getting recorded anyway, so you can watch it later on if you do miss out on some stuff. Okay, so the first question says, the line L is shown on the grid. So we've got a graph. Work out the equation. So we're working out the equation of line L, give your answer in the form y equals mx plus c. So they've already given you what it needs to be in. So the equation of a line is y equals mx plus c. So what does this mean? The m is the gradient. So m is a gradient. And the c is a y-intercept. And what that means is where the line touches the y-axis. So m is a gradient, c is a y-intercept. So we need to essentially find m and we need to find c. The equation for finding the gradient is difference in y divided by difference in x. And how you do this is you have to find two solid points on the graph and the line. So I'm going to pick one here first. So I've picked 1 and 5. So there's my first coordinate because it's a solid point. It's not halfway through the coordinates. And my second point that I'm going to pick is 3, -3, and -3. So I've got my two coordinates. Now I need to, so if I just write them here, A is 1, 5. B is -3, -3. So as you can see, my x coordinates are here and my y coordinates are here. So to find the gradient is the difference in the y coordinates divided by the difference in the x coordinates. The difference means take away. So the y coordinates, I'm going to minus them. So I'm going to do 5 take away 3. So 5 minus -3 divided by -3. Sorry, 1 minus -3. So I'm doing A take away B. So 5 take away -3 is 5 plus 3 because two negatives make a positive in the middle. Likewise here, 1 take away -3 gives me 1 plus 3. That is 5 plus 3 is 8. And 1 plus 3 is 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So my gradient is 2, which makes sense because it's going to have a positive gradient because the graph is going upwards. So I know my gradient is right because it's got a positive gradient. With negative gradient, the line would go downwards that way. That would make it negative. I know my gradient is positive because the line is going at a positive gradient. So I found my gradient. My gradient is 2. Now I just need to find my y-intercept. So all I need to do is look at the graph where my line touches the y-axis. The y-axis is this one here. So where my line touches the y-axis, and I can see the line touches the y-axis at -3. So my y-intercept is just -3. So I can just plug these numbers into my equation. So y equals my gradient, which is m, which is 2, 2x -3. My c is -3. There's my equation of the line. Y equals 2x -3. So all you need to remember is when you find an equation of a line, you need your gradient. The equation to find the gradient is difference in y divided by difference in x, and you have to find two solid points. And my y-intercept is just where your line touches the y-axis, which is the vertical axis. That's my equation of the line. So moving on to question 2. So question 2 says, here is a right angle triangle. Use trigonometry to work out the value of x. So it's a right angle triangle and it's including angles as well as lengths. So I am going to be using SOHCAHTOA. Pythagoras is only for lengths and size, so you can't use SOHCAHTOA Pythagoras when it comes to angles. So first things first, when it comes to SOHCAHTOA, First, I'm going to label all the sides that I have. I know the longest side is always the hypotenuse. The side opposite the angle given is always opposite, and the remaining is adjacent. And in this case, I've got the hypotenuse. I am finding an opposite, so I need the trig value that contains O and H, which is sine. And students always get confused with rearranging. So I always say to them, draw the triangle out, and that way you can see what you're finding out. So the triangle is sine of x is opposite divided by hypotenuse. And remember, x is always your angle. Your angle always goes next to your trig values. So in this case, I have my angle. So I've got my angle's given to me. Hypotenuse is given to me. I need to find opposite side. So opposite side is sine of x. The sine of x is 39. Sine 39 times by my hypotenuse side, which is 15. So that's why I've used the triangle, so I can see clearly how I am rearranging. Therefore, the opposite side is just going to be sine 39 times 15. If you just plug that in your calculator, you get 9.439805. And if I'm giving it one decimal place, my opposite side length will be 9.4 centimeters. Units are centimeters. That's how you would do trigonometry. One fact to remember is if you are working out your angle, you have to, so for example, if I had something like sine of x equals 5 divided by 4, and you would need to find out x. To find out x, you always have to take the sine values on the other side, and you have to use the inverse trig function. So it would look something like this: x equals sine to the power of -1 times by 5/4. And how you get your trig function in the calculator, if you just press shift and your trig function, it will give you inverse trig function. So if you just put that in the calculator like this, it will give you what your angle is. So that's to find out angles. And it's the same with cos and tan. It's going to be cos to the power of -1 times by your sides. So my answer is just 9.4 in this case because I was finding the missing side. If there's any question, put them in the chat and I should be able to answer them. Right, question 3. So this is a simple and a compound interest question. So it's got both in them. So Zara invested 2,500 to invest for 4 years. She sees two different offers. Offer 1 is simple interest at 6% per year. Offer 2 is compound interest at 4.5% per year. Work out how much more interest Zara would receive by using offer 1 compared to offer 2. So you need to essentially find, is adjacent the angle? Sorry. No, adjacent is the side. Adjacent is always the side. So always, you know, hypotenuse is always the longest side. Opposite side is the side opposite the angle given, and then the remaining side is the adjacent side. Okay, so moving on to the next question. So with simple interest and compound interest, let's see what's given to us. So in this case, we're given the starting amount. So 2,500 is the starting amount, and we're given the number of years. So that them two numbers are given to us. So we've got starting amount, and we've got a number of years. So let's work out how much interest you would get with offer 1. So offer 1 is your simple interest. So with simple interest, it's all you're doing is you're doing your starting amount, timesing it by the number of years, timesing it by your percentage divided by 100. So first of all, I'm going to do the percentage, which is 6%. 6%, and I'm going to divide that by 100. 6% divided by 100 is just 0.06, and this is my multiplier for simple interest. So with simple interest, to find the multiplier, all you do is you do your percentage divided by 100. So I've got that, and now I can just do the working out. So I'm going to do the starting amount, which is 2,500, which is given to us in the question, times it by the number of years, which is 4 years, and times it by the multiplier, 0.06. If I plug that in my calculator, it gives me £600. So she gets £600 interest with the offer 1. Right, offer 2 is compound interest. Compound interest is a little bit different. If I do offer 2, so compound interest, the equation is starting amount times by the multiplier to the power of number of years. Because the starting amount is given to us, the number of years is given to us, we need to find the multiplier. So with a compound interest, if you're the percentage increase, you do 100 plus your percentage divided by 100. If it's a percentage decrease or a loss, it's 100 take away your percentage divided by 100. In this case, she's increasing, so it hasn't said decrease or loss, so we assume it's increase. So I'm going to do 4.5 plus 100 divided by 100. If I put that in my calculator, it gives me 1.045. This is my multiplier. So it's a bit different than how we find the multiplier for simple interest. And now I can just plug it into my equation. So the starting amount is 2,500, timesing it by the multiplier, which is 1.045 to the power of number of years. Number of years was 4 years. And that gives me £481 and 30 pence. That's how much interest she gets if she goes for the offer 2. Now we've got both offers. That if it's a 4-mark question, that would give us 3 marks or 2 to 3 marks. The last bit says work out how much more interest she will receive by using offer 1 compared to offer 2. So we need to find the difference to see how much more she's getting in offer 1, because you can see she's getting a lot more in offer 1. So if you find the difference would just be the £600, because that's the amount she's getting in offer 1. Take it away from the offer 2 interest, £481.30. We see she is getting £118 and 70 pence more in offer 1. So your answer is £118 and 70 pence. It's all about reading the question, because I know some kids would just assume they would just leave the question up till here. But remember, you have to do the last step to get the extra marks. So that's all it is. So that's the difference between simple interest and compound interest. It's just with simple interest, you're doing a starting amount times by the number of years times by your multiplier. And remember, your multiplier is just your percentage divided by 100. In offer 2 is starting amount times by the multiplier to the power of number of years. And the multiplier depends on if it's an increase or a decrease. Right, moving on to question 4. Right, this is a transformation question. So this is where they've combined two transformations in the question. So the question says, part A says, reflect triangle A. So you've got your triangle in the line y equals -1 and label the new triangle B. So I need to draw the line y equals -1. I know y equals -1 needs to cut through the y-axis, which is here. The y-axis is here. It needs to cut through the y-axis horizontally at -1. So I know -1 is here. So my mirror line is going to be here. So that is cutting through the y-axis at -1. And all you're doing is, how the trick to do this question is, each point, each corner and vertex of the triangle, you see how far the distance it is from the mirror line, and you draw it the same exact distance on the opposite side. So let's go with this one here. I know this is 1, 2, 3 points away from the mirror line, so I'm going to do it 1, 2, 3 points away. This one here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points away, so I'm going to draw it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, I drew the mirror line a bit wrong. Ignore that. It's at -1. So the mirror line would be here, not 1. So again, same thing, just draw the points equal distance from the mirror line. So that's 1 point away from the mirror line, so that's going to be here. This one is 1, 2, 3 points away, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3 points here. This one is 1, 2, 3 points away, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3 points away. So I've got my point. I'm just going to connect the dots now. And it says label that triangle B. So you can see triangle B is exactly mirrored in the line y equals -1 to A. So that's the first part done. Second part says translate triangle A by the vector. So first of all, it's important to understand what the vector is saying to us. So in the vector, the top number, remember, it's not a fraction, it's a vector. The top number is telling you if it's going right or left. If the number is negative, it's going left. If your number is positive, in this case, which it is, it's going right. So that means it's going 5 units to the right. Each point is going 5 units to the right. The bottom number tells you if it's going up or down. If it's negative number, it's going down that many units. If it's positive number, which it is, it's going up that many units. So if it was something like -4, -6, that would be 4 units left, 6 units down. So it's all about understanding what the vector is telling you. So I know each point needs to go 5 units to the right and 3 units up. So let's draw that. Let's start with this one here. So 5 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. So that point goes there. Next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. There you go. And last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. If I connect the dots, and this is triangle C. You can see here. So it's all about understanding what the vector is saying. Then you can see clearly which direction I'm moving each point and work with the vertices of the shape. That will enable you to draw the shape accurately as well. I know a lot of kids freehand it, so and lose a lot of marks because they don't end up drawing the shape accurately, but always work with the vertex. Right, next question. So this is a best buys question. So the question says, PetZone and Barkmart sell the same brand of dog food. So in PetZone, you get a 6 kg bag plus 25% extra for £18.60. In Barkmart, you get a 6 kg bag, you get a sixth of the normal price off £18.60. Which bag of pet food is better value for money? So the better value for money will be the cheaper one, cheaper option. So we need to work out for the same amount of kgs, which one is giving us the better option. And they've given it a bit complicated where they've given they've worded it differently. So let's do it step by step. Let's do pet zone first. And it's 4 marks. So in pet zone, it says you get a 6 kg bag plus you get 25% extra. So we need to work out how much you're getting in, how much kg you're getting in total. So we need to work out 25% of 6 kg and add that on because you're getting 25% extra of 6 kg. So 25% of 6 kg. If you're doing it with non-calculator, you'd work out 10%, 10%, and then 5%. But if you've got a calculator, all you need to do is you do 25 divided by 100 times by 6, which is just 0.25 times by 6, which is 1.5 kg extra she's getting. So altogether, she is getting 6 kg plus 1.5 kg, which is 7.5 kg for £18.60. So we worked that out. So instead of getting 6 kg, she's getting 25% extra, which is 7.5 kg for £18.60. So we need to get that to 1 kg because we want to compare the kgs to be the same because now we've got 7.5 kg for PetZone, but we've got 6 kg for Barkmart. So it's a bit of ratio involved. So if I just show you 7.5 kg for £18.60, when you get that to 1 kg, 7.5 to 1, you divide by 7.5. And you do the same on the other side, divide £18.60 by 7.5. For 1 kg, she is going to be paying £2.48. So we've got that £2.48 for 1 kg. So we've done that for PetZone. Right, we need to do for Barkmart now. So Barkmart says she's getting a 6 kg bag, but she's also getting a sixth of the normal price off. So we need to work out how much money she's getting off the price. She's getting a sixth off. So we need to essentially work out what's a sixth of £18.60 to work out how much she's getting up. A sixth of £18.60 is just £18.60 divided by 6, which is just she's getting £3.10 off. So if it's £18.60, she's getting £3.10 off minus £3.10. So for 6 kg, she's going to be paying £15.50 for 6 kg. Again, do a bit of ratio to find out how much 1 kg is going to cost. So 6 kg for £15.50. Want to get it to 1 kg, so 6 divided by 6 is 1. Divide the opposite side by 1 because it's direct proportion. So for 1 kg, in this case, for Barkmart, she's paying £2.58. So she's paying a whole 10p more. So remember, always write your statement. So the final statement is going to be the cheaper option is pet zone. So the cheaper option is pet zone. So always write your statement at the end. That will get you your final mark. Okay. So this was a long-winded best buys question. As long as you understand the question, you read the question, and at the end, always you're going to be using ratio to find out how much 1 kg is going to be, or the amount of one is going to be able to compare it, so we can see clearly how much they're going to be paying for each of them. So next question, question 6. Arithmetic sequence. So the first 4 terms of an arithmetic sequence are -2, 8, 18, and 28. Write down an expression in the terms of n, or the nth term of the sequence. So what that is basically saying is you're writing down an expression to be able to work out what the future terms are. It's easier than calculating what's the next term going to be. If you write an expression, plug your values in, you'll be able to work out what's the 100th term, the 1000th term. It'll be easier that way. So how you do this is, I'm just going to write it down here, -2, 8, 18, 28. And with arithmetic sequence, you're either always going to be adding as you're going up, so increasing by adding a value, or decreasing by minusing a value. So arithmetic is always adding or minusing. It's never times and divides. We'll go over that after. We'll explain a bit about that after. So first things first, always find the difference. So -2 to 8 is +10. 8 to 18 is +10. 18 to 28 is +10. So I can see already it's going to be 10n because it's increasing by +10 each time. And then the last bit is, what you do is, to find the next part of the equation, you always do from your first term. So this is my first term, this is my second, this is my third, and this is my fourth. You always do the opposite sign of this. So instead of +10, I'm gonna do the -10. So if it was -10 each time going up, I would +10 on the other side. So I'm gonna do -2 -10, which is -12. So that's gonna be so that's gonna be 10n -12. That's how your nth term is. It's always the same. Find the difference. Either it's going to be adding going up or minusing going up, and then you do, to find the next part of the page, and you always do the opposite sign, and you do from the original first term to how you get from the that bit here, -12. So that's my nth term. So now what that means is, let's just say if the question says find the 65th term, that just means make n 65. So if I just sub it in, I can do 10 times 65 minus 12. 10 times 65 is 650 minus 12 is, I just worked that out, is 638. So my 65th term is going to be 638. So that's what that means. When you find the expression, you're able to find any term. You can find the 1000th term, the millionth term. Another way they can ask you the question is, they will either say, is 100 a term? That just means is when you solve this, if is 100 in the term. So what you do here is you're going to do 10n, so you get the nth term, 10n minus 12, and you make it equal to the answer here. So there's two things they can ask you. They can either ask you to find the 100th term or the 50th term, or they can say, is this number a term? What you do is you always make that equal to the expression, and then you solve it. 10n equals, I'm going to plus 12, 112. N equals 112 divided by 10, which is 11.2. No, it is not a term because it's not a whole number. No, it is not a term, as it is not a whole number. So it can only be a term if the number is a whole number. Okay. On the topic of sequences, there's a few other sequences that I know you need to know about. So, for example, the Fibonacci sequence. The Fibonacci sequence is just 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. So all you're doing is you keep adding the previous two terms. So if you can see here, these two are adding to make 2, 1 and 2 is adding to make 3, 2 and 3 is added to make 5. So the previous two terms are adding to make the next term. That's a Fibonacci sequence. And another type of sequence is geometric sequence. Handy to know about these. Geometric sequence is when you're timesing by numbers. So for example, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. I know I'm timesing by 2 every time. So it can either be dividing by a number or timesing by a number. So times, multiply or divide. Or divide. The next term is being divided or times by a number. So that's all of sequences. So foundation students only need to know about arithmetic, but they need to be aware of Fibonacci sequence and geometric sequence, what it is, because they might give you a question and they might test you on what's the next term going to be. So you need to be able to notice the trend. So next question, question 7. Right, this looks like a complicated one. So A, B, C, D is a rhombus. A to C is 17.6 centimeters. B to D is 21 centimeters. Work out the perimeter of the rhombus A, B, C, D. So first, let's work out what's given to us. A to C, so I know this. A to C is 17.6. So 17.6 centimeters. B to D, so B to D is 21 centimeters. So now it says work out the perimeter. So to find out the perimeter, we need to work out this length plus this length plus this length plus this length. So perimeter is all the exterior lengths added up. So I don't know if you can see this a rhombus is made up of 4 right angle triangles put together. And if you know this length here, that's just going to be half of 17.6. 17.6 divided by 2 is just 8.8. That's going to be 8.8. And then this length here is just going to be 21 divided by 2 because the full length is 21. I just want to know from B to the center. 21 divided by 2 is just 10.5. So can you see now? It's a right angle triangle. It is finding out missing length, and we need to work out this. So it's going to be Pythagoras. Okay, so using Pythagoras, we can find out the missing length. So Pythagoras' theorem. Just make sure you always write down the equation as well. Pythagoras' theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So let's label our sides. The longest side is always c, and that can be a and b. It doesn't matter which order you write a and b in. So let's just sum our numbers in. A squared is going to be 8.8 squared plus 10.5 squared equals c squared. If I do that, 8.8 squared is just 77.44 plus 10.5 squared. 10.5 squared is just 110.25. That equals c squared. If you add them up together, that's going to be 187.69 is c squared. Remember, you want to find c, it's not c squared. So to get rid of the squared, you need to square root the other side. Therefore, c is going to be square root of 187.69. Therefore, c is going to be 13.7. That means this length is 13.7. This length is 13.7, this length is 13.7, and this length is 13.7 because it's a regular rhombus. All the lengths are equal. So now to find the perimeter, all we need to do is add up all the side lengths. So we're just going to do 13.7 times it by 4 because there's 4 of them. 13.7 times 4 is 54.8 centimeters. That's the perimeter. So can you see how they use Pythagoras in this? So yeah, this was a Pythagoras question, including a shape. So next question. Right, a 3-mark worded one. Okay, so the question says there are 400 stickers for sale in a store. There's 400 stickers for sale. Sally buys, so she buys 5/8 of the stickers. Sally then gives 3/5 of her stickers to Shona. Write down the number of stickers Sally now has to the number of stickers Shona has. Give your answer in the form 1 to n. So it's given us a clue as to what our answer should be in the end. It should be in the form 1 to n. So first of all, we need to work out, so there's 400 stickers in total, and Sally buys 5/8 of them. So let's work out how much she actually buys. So we are going to do 5/8 of 400. That's going to be 400 divided by 8 times by 5. You just put that in your calculator. That gives me Sally buys 250 stickers. So out of the 400, she buys 250 stickers. It then says Sally then gives 3/5 of her stickers to Shona. So 3/5 of the 250 stickers Sally has, she gives it to Shona. So 3/5 of the 250, she gives it to Shona. So that's going to be 250 divided by 5 times by 3, which is going to be 250 divided by 5 is 50. 50 times 3 is 150. 150 stickers to Shona. So Shona has that many now. So now we need to work out, she obviously, if she's given 150 away, how much does she have left? So she buys 250, she gives 150 away. She's left with 100 stickers. Sally is left with. So she's left with 100 stickers because she's given 150 to Shona. So now the last part of the question says, write down the number of stickers Sally now has. So Sally now has 100 to the number of stickers Shona has. Shona has 150. So the ratio is going to be 100 to 150. And it's given us a clue. It needs to be in the ratio 1 to n. So we need to get from 100 down to 1. You divide by 100. So I'm going to do 150 divided by 100 on the other side. 150 divided by 100 is just 1.5. So n is just 1.5. So it's given the clue in the question what we need to divide by, what we need the ratios to be divided by. So that's that question there, question 8. Any questions? I will move on to the last few questions. There's none. Any questions? Type them in the chat. So moving on to question 9. So this is a two-way table. I know a lot of kids get confused on these, and it's all about understanding what each of the table means. So It says 70 students from year 10 and year 11 asked their favorite hot drink from coffee, tea, and hot chocolate. 33 students are in year 10. 18 of the 20 students who said coffee are in year 11. 12 year 10 students prefer tea. 19 students preferred hot chocolate. Use the information to complete the two-way table. So we can see we have year 10 students here. We have year 11 students here. So we have year 10 and year 11. We have which students like coffee, tea, or hot chocolate, and then these fields are the totals. And this is the complete total amount of students. So we can see it says here 70 students from year 10 and 11. So altogether, the amount of students total is going to be 70 because it says in the question 70 is going to go in the total for the drinks and the total for the students. So we know the max amount of students that can be at one time is 70. So we've got that. The next part is 33 students are in year 10. So where can we see year 10? Year 10 is here. So altogether, in the total of the year 10 student is going to be 33 because it says 33 students are in year 10. So we know now if this is the total, 70 take away 30, these two fields should add up to that one. 70 take away 33 is just 36. Sorry, 37. This is going to be 37 because these two fields here should add up to make 70. So we could already work that out. Now we've done that one. Next part says 18 of the 20 students who said coffee are in year 11. So 18 of the 20 students said coffee are in year 11. So we know 18 students said coffee in year 11. And altogether there were 20 students who said coffee are in year 11. So 18 students said coffee out of the 20 students who said coffee altogether. So we know these two fields need to add up to this one. So 18 plus 2 is 20. So I can work that out. Now, next one says 12 year 10 students preferred tea. So where's year 10 and where's tea? So 12 of them preferred tea. 12 of the year 10 students. So year 10 and under tea. Okay, we've done that one. Now, 19 students preferred hot chocolate. So altogether, it doesn't say if it's year 10 or year 11. We know 19 students preferred hot chocolate. So we can say, we can put 19 here because we know the total 19 students preferred hot chocolate. We know these three fields should add up to 70. So we can do 70, take away 20 plus 19. That gives me 31. And we know these two fields should add up to 31. So 31 take away 12 is 19. That's 19 there. We know if I do it in a different color, these three fields should add up to this field. So 33 take away 2 plus 12, which is 19. And we know these two fields, these three fields should add up to this field. So 37 take away 18 plus 19, which is just 0. So we've completely filled in our table. So that's how you fill in a two-way table. It's just about understanding which numbers add up to what, which field add up to what, because they won't give you the full information. They'll just give you partial information and you need to fill out everything. So that's part A done. Part B says, one of the students who preferred tea, so we need a student who prefers tea, is chosen at random. Write down the probability that this student is in year 11. So which year, how many year 11 students prefer tea? So let's look at that. So year 11, tea, there was 19. 19 students out of the year 11 preferred tea. And altogether, how many kids preferred tea? It was 31. So that is going to be 19 divided by 31. Because yeah, out of the total amount of kids who like tea, there was 31 and only 19 of them were in year 11. That's the question asking. The last question is, what is the modal choice of drink? Modal just means most common choice of drink. So we are going to be looking at these fields here because that's where the drink are. There's coffee, there's tea, and there's hot chocolate. So we're looking at which one was the most common. The most common was tea because tea has 31 students. Tea was the mod. Tea was the mod. Okay, so now let's move on to the last few questions. So this is a density question with a cuboid. So this question says the diagram shows a cuboid. The cuboid is made from solid gold and has a mass. So it's given us the mass of 1.536 kilograms. Work out the density of the cuboid. So first of all, let's draw our triangle so we can see what we're working with. The mass and density triangle is mass equals the density times volume. Remember that's being divided, and the question is asking us working out the density. Therefore, the density is going to be mass divided by volume. We've been given the mass, we need to work out the volume. So we need to work out the volume of a cuboid is just length times width times height. So it's going to be length is 6 times by the width, which is 4.5, times by the height, which is 3. 6 times 4.5 times 3, which is just going to be 81 centimeters cubed. Remember, volume is in cubed. And always look out for the units. This is in kg, but the units are given us in grams per centimeter cube. We've got centimeter cube, we need to convert the 1.536 kilograms to grams. I know 1 kg is 1,000 grams. So to go from kilograms to grams, you have to times by 1,000. So I'm going to do 1.536 kg times by 1,000 gives me 1,536 grams. So I've got my mass in grams and I've got my volume now to work out the density. Density is going to be mass, which is 1,536 divided by the volume, which is 81. I plug that in the calculator, that gives me 18.962 grams per centimeters cubed. So 18.962. So always make sure you're drawing the triangle out, and that way you can see how to rearrange it. Don't try rearranging it in your head because it's very easy to make mistakes. And always look out what units are given to us. The unit in the question will give an indication if you need to convert any units like we did here. We converted that one, otherwise we would have got a different answer. So all those two things to always look out for: units and the conversions. Right. Hopefully we've covered a lot of topics that might come up tomorrow. So last question now. This is to do with area of a circle. So the diagram shows a shaded ring formed by cutting a smaller circle out of a larger circle. So I don't know if you can see, this is my larger circle here, and this is my smaller circle. And you can see the shaded bit. So the shaded area is formed by cutting a smaller circle out of a bigger circle. The radius of the smaller circle, radius is center to the edge of the circle, is 6 centimeters. And the diameter of the larger circle, diameter is from one end of the circle to the other end. The diameter of the larger circle is 15 centimeters. That's going to be 15 centimeters. Find the area of the shaded ring. So we need to work out the shaded area. So always remember the shaded area is going to be the area of the big shape of big circle. Take away the area of the smaller circle, because you are cutting out the smaller circle from the middle and then you're left with the outer ring. A bit like a donut. In a donut, the center circle is cut out. So to work out the area of the round bit, the exterior bit that's left, you do the area of the bigger circle, the outer circle, minus the area of the inner circle, and that will give you the remaining bit. So another thing to remember, so we're working out area. The area of a circle is pi r squared. Remember, r is the radius. So sometimes it can give you diameter to confuse you. Remember, area of a circle is pi r squared. The circumference of a circle, so the circumference just means the length all around, is just pi times the diameter or 2 pi r. So remember, either pi times the diameter. If you don't have the diameter, it's 2 times pi times the radius. So in this case, we are working out area of a circle. So let's work out the area of the big circle, the area of the smaller circle first. The area of a smaller circle, the radius is given to us, is going to be pi times 6 squared, which is just going to be 36 pi. I'm going to leave it in terms of pi until the end because I don't want to write the full number, I'll just waste time. Now we need the area of the big circle. Remember, they've given us the diameter, so therefore the radius is going to be half of the diameter, 15 divided by 2, which is just going to be 7.5. That's what the radius is going to be. That's going to be pi times 7.5 squared, which is just going to be 56.25 pi. Now all we're doing last step is minusing them. So we're doing area of the big circle minus area of the smaller circle. Area of the big circle is 56.25 pi. Take away 36 pi. If you just plug that in your calculator, it will be 63.6 centimeters squared because area is in squared. So just remember to minus them. Even if you don't understand the concept of finding the shaded area, if you find the area of both the circles, you would at least get a few marks from that. You'd get at least 2 marks. So the answer is 63.6 centimeters squared. So that's the last question on this set of questions. So tomorrow, I feel like a lot of questions will be based on, I know some of you are doing calculator, some of you are doing non-calculator. With non-calculator, they can still give you these kind of questions. It's just all about, they'll give you more manageable numbers that you can work out using mental maths or long division or long addition. So it's the same concept really. So anyone got any questions? And I will get this sent out to you. I know the higher class is in 5 minutes.